Welcome to the City Manager's Report. The City Manager's Report is your preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda and an update from your Oshkosh City Manager. Your hosts, Emily Mikowski of Oshkosh Community Media and City Manager Mark Roloff.
Hello everyone and welcome to your City Manager's Report. I'm your host, Emily Mikowski, and like every other show, we're going to devote the first half of the program to some current events going on around here in Oshkosh, some things to keep an eye out for, and then we'll take a little break and then head right into the City Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, May 27th. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our City Manager, Mark Roloff. As always, thanks for joining us.
Great to be here, Emily.
So let's go ahead and dive right in. Actually, earlier this week, the UW Oshkosh Alumni and Welcome Center and Conference Center, I always get that mixed up. That one had their ribbon cutting and their grand opening, and you actually were there speaking. I was able to talk with Art Rathjen briefly after the speeches happened, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what we got from him.
Wonderful accomplishment. I'm very happy for the community, happy for the university. It's what this facility was intended to do, is be an engagement center for the community of Oshkosh, the Fox Valley region. Everybody has to collaborate, and I think what the city of Oshkosh has seen with a number of projects, and this one included, is, all boats rise when people collectively work together and try and get something done. And so I couldn't be more grateful to the partners that helped the university make this happen.
This is the perfect topic to start out with. It was a beautiful day that day, I know.
Yes, even though the weather still showed the landscaping is not done there.
Not quite finished yet.
But it is a fantastic facility, and many people talked about it. It's the university's new front door. Mm-hmm. And it really, in a way, is the front door to our riverfront as well, because people who do come to UW Oshkosh, their first impression of Oshkosh is the university, and so their first impression of the community is also the facility. And the university wants to make this available for a variety of functions. We're probably going to be holding our own strategic planning training session this summer at the Alumni Welcome Center. The real big thing for us is the collaboration that we did. We certainly want private investment along the riverfront. Really, that's first and foremost. Mm-hmm. But we need to have good anchors. And what we have is we have great anchors when you think of the Leach Amphitheater and the Convention Center on one end of the River Walk, and the other end of the River Walk is the Alumni Welcome Center. And everything else in between is going to be private investment, and it's going to be a great addition to the River Walk or riverfront, because we're really transforming it from a place that it was previously industrial, and now it's going to be available for the public. And just look at the river and the River Walk in the photographs here. That
so nice.
It connects things, and the beauty of what we did with the university in this case is the university recognized they had issues with parking, and we still had parking needs for Steiger Park, which is down there, because as you can see, we're right along the river. The university will maintain Steiger Park for us and provide parking spaces for users of the park, whether they're there for use of the trail or for fishing or any other recreational activity. They're going to make that available. And so they're maintaining the park, doing that. Plus, they've agreed to take over some other landscaped areas that we had been maintaining on their behalf over the years. So we really took care of a lot of things in one fell swoop. And it just serves as such a wonderful anchor for the community, for the Riverwalk, the riverfront, that it's going to be something that we know will be an institution for the community for years to come, and really excited about what that means for us.
Mm-hmm. And it's not only for the University of Oshkosh. There's so many events that have already been booked there for the future, weddings, conferences, that kind of thing. And like you were saying, it's really a win-win situation for everyone, and collaboration has really been the theme for so long here the past few years, that it's so important that the city is able to work with the university in that way. So it's really kind of a cool collaboration there. Yeah,
we've had a lot of discussions about so many different projects we've been working on in recent years, and this is just one example of the things we've done. You take a look at the university's biodigester. We worked with them on that. It was their project, but we worked to provide methane gas that we really weren't using very well to go over to the biodigester. We've worked with them with the Central Garage project, because We needed some space, and we traded some land over there. That worked out to both of our benefits. So it's those types of things, recognizing our individual needs. And when I made my remarks, I was really talking about our sharing of our visions. It's not not just a shared vision, but sharing each other's visions to make things better for the community. And I think the university has become an excellent partner working with the city, and we're happy to partner with them to solve community issues and make the community a better place. And all those things we've done, the hotel, the landscaping in and around some of the streets we've done, all those things are great examples, and I think we're just going to continue to do these things in the future.
Yes, and beautiful building, so I definitely encourage people to go over and check it out. Great segue. Another beautiful building that Phase 1 recently was completed is the Field Operations Facility for the Public Works Department. Phase 1 complete, office areas kind of moved over there. What can you tell us about Phase 2 getting started here?
Well, Phase 2 will really begin once we get moved into, with as much as we can, into Phase 1. The building is only about half done volume-wise, but for construction there's a lot done, and you can see from the video we have here, this is from the mezzanine level looking down.
It's huge in there.
Over the garage, but we have a lot of trucks, and those trucks will now be able to be stored inside and maintained inside. But you can see at the far end there where the sort of the glare is, that's where Phase 2 will take off. So once we get moved in here, we get the garage repair facilities, and look at those bays. We actually have genuine bays that you can pull in and out of to get maintained, and just outside those doors is where we worked with the university. They gave us a little bit of land, and we swapped them for some other land so it's able to work. So, here's what you can see on the outside of just where you were looking at.
This is actually a live feed too.
And you can see the plastic that goes up. That's where Phase 1 ends. Now Phase 2, once we get moved in, we're going to start tearing things down. We're going to tear down the old building and then build the rest of the garage, finish up on a lot of the paving and landscaping, the fuel islands, all those things that are that go along with the building itself. We've already started on some utility work. We had to acquire some land to do that, so that utility work is well underway. Really, now it's just about getting things moved in there. So we're just in the process of slowly moving things in.
And that's a pretty extensive process. We were taking a tour with Kevin Ewan last week, and he said you're taking all this equipment and kind of squeezing it into the half that's finished, and then it'll slowly spread out as the Phase 2 completes. So that's a kind of a big thing they're trying to get done right now.
And the last inside area they showed us where the garbage trucks are going to go. We aren't going to move the garbage trucks right away. We don't want to try to squeeze too much in too quickly. The refuse and the sanitation division will stay away. They'll stay over there on 4th Avenue for the time being. They'll move in towards the end of the project because we don't want to overburden ourselves. But we got to get everybody out of the old building, and that's really the first phase. So keep watching these videos. We're really excited about this, and I think it's going to help make things a lot more efficient for us down the road, and that is the primary reason of why we did this. Definitely.
And one of my misconceptions is when I was touring it, I was thinking this is huge compared to the old one, and I keep having to remind myself this one building is all several buildings that are being consolidated. So I think that's might be a misconception for other people that when you compare it to the old one, it seems like why is it so it's double, triple the size of the old one, but really it's all these buildings coming together in a way.
Sure. When you think of our sanitation division, which is pretty close to the river, that really is not an appropriate use for for near riverfront property. So when we move them in, and then places that we've been storing materials that our crews have to drive all the way out to pick up stone, just really basic materials, it'll be more readily available for them, and just so many other efficiencies that you're going to see down the road that the public will get their payback in terms of value and efficiency that you didn't see before because we made the best use of what we had, and that wasn't very good. It was great in the 1940s, but it's not relevant for 21st century field operations facilities.
Definitely, and driving down Wetzel, you can't miss it. It's an awesome, cool-looking new building, so eager to see where the Phase 2 goes, and looking forward to seeing the final result here. Another recent recent installation are some new traffic lights with yellow flashing arrows, and these are new to Oshkosh, right?
They're new to Oshkosh. I got to get used to them myself. I got to be honest with you. You know, I was advocating the roundabouts. I still like them. I know people don't always agree with me. These yellow arrows, if you're complaining about them a little bit, I'm probably going to be a little bit in your camp, but it's something we got to get used to. What they are is just telling people that, warning them to, when they flash, you have to yield to oncoming traffic before you make a turn. It doesn't mean that you have a free left turn. If you have a green arrow, that means you can freely turn, but those mean you have to watch. And these just got installed over on Washburn and Westtown, near where the Quick Trip was just constructed, and that's the only one that the city owns, but there are a couple more in town. One's over at Highway 44 at Keller, and both the on-ramps and off-ramps to Highway 41 at 44, and also down at Highway 26. So when you see that yellow flash, that means you got to look for the oncoming traffic and be careful, because it doesn't mean it's getting ready to turn. When it's flashing, it's not ready to turn. You saw it when it gets to that solid yellow. That means it's getting ready to turn red completely, and you're not going to be able to make any turning movement. So be aware of it. Get accustomed to it, like me. And
it's kind of like the roundabouts. It's an adjustment, slow and steady. You know, yield to the people that are coming, and you should be all right.
So yeah, we have to learn to get used to those things. So you know, we'll all learn together.
Yes. Moving on here, a little update here is the city and the DA are starting to kind of work together here on some neighborhood issues. This is something you've been working on.
Yeah, well, the district attorney, Christian Gossett, approached various city departments about the common themes that come through when the district attorney's office has a case, and are there other public entities, including the schools, county social services, the city police department, our code enforcement. And I think what we found is that there tends to be some commonality, that if there are issues in one department or one individual, they probably are throughout other areas. So what the DA suggested, and what we've bought into, is a pilot project of sorts, and gathering data about people who are using all of our different public entities for service or clients or cases, and saying, okay, what are the common themes there? We don't want to be working at cross purposes. If law enforcement's working on something, we want to make sure that that doesn't interfere with something going on in the school system. So the pilot project that the district attorney and all the other entities have agreed to is the Roosevelt School area. So if there are issues in the schools, we'll make sure are there some common issues going on in any other governmental entities that we need to be aware of, so they're not working at cross purposes. These are public funds going to help resolve these issues, and if you're one agency and I'm the other, and I'm spending resources that are actually hurting what you're trying to do, then we're really wasting taxpayers' money. So the idea is we want to make sure that we're aware of what each other's doing and then work in tandem on that.
Kind of making sure everyone's on the same page, you know, for all the issues.
Literally and figuratively, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So appreciate District Attorney Gossett just taking the initiative to recognize that these common themes are there and something we can work on together.
Another little update here for this summer here, now that people are finally starting to get out on their bikes, is kind of a nice little promotion for getting your bike license. Right now they're free, I believe, through June 30th. So kind of what's the reasoning, what's the motivation to get a bike license?
Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one is the practical side of it. If you were to misplace, or have your bicycle stolen, and then we recover it, the license will get us to know who that person is, and we can get it to you. We can get back to you. There are a lot of bicycles that are sitting over in our police department because nobody's claimed them. Somebody loses a bike, somebody believes that it was lost or stolen, and they just give up hope. And so they don't bother calling the police department. And the police department, you call them up and say, I have a blue bike. Well, the police department maybe has 40 blue bikes. You want to come down and take a look? Well, or they don't even think of asking. So the idea is, if you're licensed, we know who you are. we say, look, this license number matches up with Mark Roloff. Give Mark Roloff a call, say, we have your bike, come down and get it. The other part is to encourage people to ride their bikes, and that's what the Bike and Pedestrian Committee really was the one who initiated it this year. So between the police department and the Bike and Pedestrian Committee, they're really encouraging people, number one, to license their bikes so they can get returned to them, or just use their bikes in general and get out there and enjoy yourself, get exercise, be good for the environment, all the good things that go along with it. So from now through June 30th, you can get your bike license for free. Just stop down to the police department and they'll be happy to take care of you.
And even for people that already have a bike license, like our friend Andy we were talking with before, he's got a bike license, but it's probably outdated and different address, phone number. So even if you already have one, you can renew it and make sure all the information is current on there and enjoy your bike riding here in Oshkosh.
Exactly. So we're hoping that people will do that.
Yes. Moving on here, kind of a nice, uplifting little story. The Little Free Libraries program is taking part in Stevens Park. The Stevens Park Neighborhood Association has decided to sponsor this. They've been working with the Senior Center, I believe, and also with parks to be able to install these little free libraries. One in particular, going in Stevens Park here. Explain it to us a little bit.
It really, the adage is leave a book, take a book. So you're allowed to donate a book without any red tape or anything. Open the cabinet, put a book in there, and if you see a book that you like, go ahead and take it. Bring it back whenever you want to. It's just a way for the community to give to one another, and it really helps make these kind of a central gathering point in the neighborhood for neighbors to meet each other. The Neighborhood Association has just dedicated it, so it's available now for the public to use. You can donate, you can borrow, either way. We're really pleased that the folks at the Oshkosh Senior Center were the ones who constructed these on behalf of the Stevens Park Neighborhood Association. So other community partnerships going together, but the whole idea is for community to get to know one another, find a common theme. And so, with the community garden you have going on at Stevens Park, the little free library, the new playground equipment, Stevens Park is cool. It's just becoming a wonderful location for true community outreach, community togetherness. And so we're really pleased that we were able to, it's as easy as saying, sure, let's find a place to put it for you, and the neighborhood's gonna just be that much better because they've got more reasons to get together.
It looks really nice, and actually all the books are being donated by the Stevens Park neighborhoods. And actually I think there was a librarian that lives in the area that volunteered to kind of oversee it. So it's cool how everybody's kind of taken part in that. But we're going to go ahead and scoot on to Question Mark. It's that time of the show. Viewers have the chance to ask their city manager anything they want about things going on here in Oshkosh. So why don't we go ahead and take a look and see what the question is this week. Mark, so the question this week is, why doesn't Oshkosh PD get their vehicles serviced at the city's central garage?
PD is the police department. It's a great question, and I think we partially answered in the first part of the show. The person who asked the question asked a very long question about instead of going to local businesses, because we do send a lot of our squad cars out right now. A lot of it has to do with the inefficiency at the old central garage, because we really don't have the room to service all our city vehicles. The big vehicles require some specialized service, so we need to do that ourselves. The PD, their basic needs, oil changes, other engine type of things, that a local service center can do those very easily for us. So the idea is that once we have the central garage transform into the field operations facility, I think we're going to be more efficient. We can take a look at that time and see if we can bring some of that back in-house to more effectively do that, and maybe make it a little more convenient for the police department as well.
Yeah, so looking forward to having the nice new central garage and possibly seeing some police cars in there too. So we're going to actually take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll dive right into the City Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, May 27th. We'll be right back on your City Manager's Report.
Thinking about dealing drugs in our county? Think again.
Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow. When we see a roundabout, take it slow. Then we pick the correct lane and take it slow. When we see a car approach, we yield to the left. When we're in that roundabout, we don't pass anybody yet. Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow.
Visit WisconsinRoundabouts.com for more info from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Welcome back to your City Manager's Report, and now it's that time of the show to go ahead and take a look at the Oshkosh Common Council agenda for May 27th, 2014. So Mark, first up we've got a workshop about some health insurance things. What are we going to be talking about there?
Well, Council set a goal for me to work on making health insurance more cost effective for us as the employer. So we're going to have a workshop, and we're really going to talk about some basic things. First, the status of our health insurance program as well as our health insurance fund. And then we did some surveys of other cities as well as local employers to kind of get a feel for where we stand up versus other competing agencies, to just get a good snapshot of that. And then finally, take a look at two initiatives that we've been talking about in recent months, and they're really developments that are happening out there in the marketplace, happening in real time in other agencies, specifically an employer-based health clinic where we contract and run our own health clinic for our own employees and their dependents. And then also wellness is a huge issue, trying to prevent bad things happening to your health, and the best way to do it is to start with prevention and teaching wellness, encouraging wellness, and then measuring that and giving employees incentives to work towards a healthy lifestyle. So those are the issues that we want to talk with council about, and I think the whole idea is anything we can do to get our health costs down is going to be beneficial for the employees as well as the taxpayer.
Mm-hmm. And this has been discussion in the past, so it'll be really great to hear some more details on that. Up next under the resolutions here, one on environmental monitoring at the Timmerman landfill. So what exactly is this, and why are we monitoring it?
Well, we own a number of former landfills. The Timmerman landfill is actually in the South Industrial Park near Marvel Manufacturing, and it's an old landfill that we're required to monitor for gas primarily because as garbage decomposes, methane comes out. And we're spending, in this case, $32,000 a year. We're hoping that with this monitoring we can demonstrate that we can require less monitoring and save ourselves money. But we're all paying for this monitoring of landfills that have been closed for years. So anything we do to get the cost down, the monitoring may help us do that.
Great. Moving on here, resolution closing Wisconsin Avenue. This is kind of a nice little time to just make sure people are aware Wisconsin Ave will be closed for I&I. Manhole rehab project's going to kind of continue on that, so that's another thing to kind of look out for.
Sure. Inflow and infiltration is I&I. We're sealing some manholes. This area is a state highway technically, so we have to get permission to close it, and we have to get formal action by the council. So you be on the lookout for any type of press release that when it'll be closed. It'll be closed for several days while we're rehabilitating the manholes. So look for the press release and we'll let you know when to avoid Wisconsin Avenue.
Yes. Up next here, kind of a big number here, borrowing for general obligations having to do with water, sanitary sewer, and stormwater. It's $15 million.
That's just the general obligation portion, and $15 million, $9 million represents some refinancing that we're doing. We have some old debt that we're now eligible to refinance. We can't always refinance like you can with your home loans. You got to do it when a certain window of opportunity presents itself. These are from 2004 and 2006. We're going to refinance them. We estimate we're probably going to save $250,000 by doing the refinancing itself. In addition, we have some other borrowings for stormwater, sanitary, as well as water system. So this is our annual borrowing to take care of all of our capital projects we have planned for 2015 or 2014.
Yes, and this is something you do every year, like you said.
Yeah, every year.
Okay. Moving on to our next item for discussion here is reviewing some of the survey results. You did a survey for the Pedal Pub. What did you end up finding for that?
Well, this is we're still working on the survey itself. Really, we're asking council because there was a discussion at the last meeting about perhaps regulating pedal pubs, and there's so many different options. We're giving council a little survey of sorts, and we're going to report back on where it is and see if they want to do it, and if so, what rules will does the council lean towards, because we want to draft an ordinance and present it to them that makes sense to them. Right. So the survey will just give us those results.
Okay, and so this is something we can look out for in the future then?
Yeah, it'll be at a future meeting.
All right. Also kind of dealing with the pub kind of thing here is a review of some inactive liquor licenses.
We have 3 licenses that have not been actively used in the past year. And by ordinance, if they're not being used, they are potentially be revoked or transferred to somebody else. So we're going to put these folks, give them a notice and say, look, you haven't used your license. There are people who have an interest in using these licenses. If you don't want them, if you're not going to use them, then we're going to give them to somebody else. So we did this last year and we took away 1 license, and we're going to do that again just to see, because it doesn't make any sense to give somebody a license that they have no intention of using, or they're not using and they're not really getting off the dime to get it done.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, the liquor licenses are in high demand here in Oshkosh, so
yes.
it is an important issue. And we breezed through those topics, so we had some time to talk about the pub crawl here, some special charges. What's the update on that, Mark?
Well, one of the things we have to do is identify who we believe were the establishments that were truly the recipients of services from the city. Primarily our police department for the pub crawl event. Mm-hmm. I've asked the police department to, out of fairness to all the bar owners in the downtown area, to take a look at these and make sure that when we make a recommendation to council that it's done correctly. We want to be fair. So we'll probably be looking at getting it finalized in the next week or so. Then I'm going to ask the city attorney's office to make sure that it's going to pass legal muster, because we want to make sure that when we're going to the council with a recommendation that it's backed by solid law and solid observations from our police department. I expect that this will go to council in July with the hearing if the bills are not paid. We'll probably get the bills out in mid-June. If they're not paid by mid-July, then we'll have a hearing.
Okay. Any issues with liquor license renewal associated with this?
At this point, the timing isn't going to work well. If they didn't pay it and it goes to next December and they don't pay it, then we'll look at other options. But right now, we won't be able to use it as leverage for the liquor licenses.
Okay, still kind of continuing that process here. Well, we are all out of time. We had a lot to talk about, so thanks for joining us again today, Mark, as always.
Always happy to do it.
Again, the City Council meeting is this Tuesday, May 27th at 6 p.m. You can watch it live on City Cable 10 or on our website, oshkoshcommunitymedia.org. You can also listen to it at 101.9 WOCT, which is also now online on our website. You can also like us on Facebook or Twitter for community and programming updates. Check out our YouTube channel for government meeting replays, also episodes of your favorite programs like City Manager's Report. And don't forget, if you do have a question for City Manager Mark Roloff, you can email it to questionmark@ci.oshkosh.wi.us. So thanks again for joining us here on your City Manager's Report, and we'll see you next time.